At the intermediate school, used to be called North Elementary. But what happened was they built a school to the north of us. It used to be South Elementary, so we couldn't be north anymore. Anyway, so glad to be here with you this morning. I wanted to share with you kind of our experiences since 2005. So looking forward to this year 20 coming up here. Really excited about that. So this session really going to be focusing on just examples. If you've gone through training recently, you maybe have done something called an artifact template. And so it's kind of similar to that, going through the different parts of how we put together like the tiered value inventory. So all the different components. You have your team, how the team functions. You have teaching expectations. What are your expectations? How do you respond to problem behavior? How do you acknowledge the positive behavior? So just really a show and tell. So I have a lot of information. If you take a look and download the slides, you'll see there's many different links. So I hope you enjoy those resources. I'm just going to jump into it. This first slide is all about being established in 2005. My wife actually drew this tiger. Actually made a rug out of it around school. I'm just going to jump in. At any time, please feel free to put some information or a question in the chat. That's being monitored by Erin, and she will let me know, just shouting out if you have a question, or you can also unmute yourself and shout out a question as well. But I'm going to go through, share some of the experiences we've had since 2005. It's been a great run. It's been exciting for me to be able to be a part of that since the beginning. So let's jump into it. So basically, just kind of like I said, highlights of a cohort 1 school. So we were one of the first 9. There was 3 in the Princeton district, our South Elementary, North Elementary, which is who we were, and our middle school were our first, one of the first 9 schools in the state to be trained as a implementing PBS school. So what's pretty cool is we have several folks who have been on the team since the very beginning. Our building secretary, our school social worker, our art teacher, and myself have had the honor of being able to be a part of this for all those years. It's been really cool to have that, be able to have that level of sustainability or sustained membership through sustaining PBIS for this long. Way back when we started with the simple expectations, respect myself, others, community, and property. We have not changed that at the elementary level at all. Both the high school and middle school have gone through some changes in how they've presented it. And actually our high school went back and went through cohort. They had so much turnover, they went through cohort as well, cohort training as well, just in the last few years. They were newly retrained. What I have here, cool. What I have here is videos. I love to do videos. I love to create videos, see the videos, watch videos. So I just have some resources here. I'm going to go through a couple pieces here with you. If video is not your thing, you might want to go learn with Sarah and Hazel about Tier 2. Anyway, I want to share some of these with you. This first link is simply a presentation that was used for using video in PBIS. I just want to turn your attention to a couple pieces of this presentation briefly, and there's these rubrics. So if you want to create videos for PBIS, the videos are not necessary to be a PBIS school, of course, but I find they can be really useful in helping support what you're trying to accomplish if you have the follow through of the staff of using them and talking about them. Now, showing a video, it's entertainment for 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, but being able to take that video and actually use it, talk about it, have it become part of your school climate and culture, that can be really beneficial. So there's 2 rubrics. You can take a look at those if you'd like. We do have videos on our main YouTube page. A lot of videos there. I believe there's well over 100 videos there. I want to share with you a couple ones that we're really proud of from the past. One is 11 years ago, we were at the National Film Festival. We had a group of teachers came up with this really cool idea. So we made a video that won that film festival there. I'm just going to share with you part of this video, of course, after ads are playing. I could have loaded these beforehand, but it's so much stuff. Okay, here we go. So this is about gossip. I'm just going to fast forward this. The idea here is we wanting to for students to know that words can really hurt. And so what we have here is a couple girls who start talking about, do you know what this other girl did? And just hope you enjoyed just a small part of this video.
Last week, what
hope you enjoyed that one. That was kind of fun. That one was that winner at that time. There's other videos that we've done over time. I'm not gonna go through every single video because we could spend all day just doing videos. But there's just some links and resources for you to take a look at that. We've made our own film festival to generate videos. We've done that a few times. Actually gone off site when transportation wasn't quite so expensive to do that, to put everybody together in kind of an auditorium type setting. That's been kind of fun. There it is, film festival. We had students and staff create videos, went to this auditorium setting, and actually we had a snowplow hit our school and knocked out the power. And so we're actually at this is actually a church, the biggest space in the community for us to be able to have our students go to during that little event. So the film festival does not give you like a trophy or anything really. They just say, nice job. So we bought our own trophy. Hopefully that's appropriate to do. Didn't really tell anybody we bought our own trophy, but it's kind of cool. Anyway, we were proud of that. One thing that we found over the years to be really beneficial is have these themes we can build our Tiger Pride around. And so this is a list of ones we've had over the years. And then we had a very talented musical person who was able to write and sing these songs for us, that she's moved on now, but she was really helped us put these together. We have 12 years of music videos before she left us. Just share with you part of one to kind of give you a flavor for what this looks like. So there's a link to all the videos, and we're just going to take a look at one of them that I think is one of my favorites. At least just part of it, not all of it.
Saw him pick a scrap off the floor. Then I saw a young girl holding the door. Then I heard the please give this to Judy. Then a breath you ever sneeze. You're the one helping out here at North, cause we show Tiger Pride, of course. And yeah, I love Tiger Pride, especially everyone at home that we do. I love Tiger Pride, everyone at North, it starts with you.
I get the idea of that one. Kind of fun. You can see some of these videos are older. These kids are now much older. Keep going. Part of our theme was in 06, 07 was having the Tiger travel around the world. And we had the opportunity to go to the conference, the PBS conference in Chicago during that time. So maybe if you saw the clip earlier this morning, where we had the person interviewing a firefighter in Chicago. And so we were able to go there. We made a video as a part, since we were there, having the Tiger have visited there and have the folks tell what they saw. Each school year, the first Friday of the first week of school, we have a kickoff assembly. We talk about all the things that we are looking forward to for the school year. We talk about whatever that theme might be for that year, what our focus is on, just kind of getting everybody to rally around that particular thing. In the past, we would share what our song is for the year. Just kind of a way to get everybody on the same page moving forward from that very first week of school. Another picture of it. You can see the back of the t-shirts here. The teachers have, this was the theme, was together or better. Everybody has those t-shirts because t-shirts is a thing. One of the themes was I belong. So that was what the t-shirt had on it at that point. My wife designed that as well. The belonging theme, just I'm sure you've seen this before. Every student has a handprint and put their name on that, put it on the wall. First week of school, or at least typically, within the first week, definitely the first 2 weeks, but that first week mostly having students go around to learn about different parts of that matrix, of those expectations in those different areas that we would do. One of the ways that we found to be really effective in teaching those expectations was doing what's called this electronic lesson plan. This was inspired by an educator in California who shared this with me years and years ago, but it's really kind of a cool way to do it. What it is simply is it's a Google Doc that has a link to a video and it has a Google form quiz. This one's about cafeteria. Just gonna open it up real briefly to show a real small part of it. moving. I think that's cool too. We'll skip that part. So this is where we had some food waste and things and just kind of a mess in the cafeteria. So we had some students come in and we had them be the cook staff. Then we had the cook staff be the kids and kind of show how not to do it, which I know you'd be careful with, but how not to do it. Kind of things that they were seeing that was being an issue for them, basically being loud in here, kind of making a mess, not wanting what you're given for food, things like that. So kind of showed it the wrong way. Some of their, like I said, some of their pet peeves, throwing it, there you go. They don't like that at all. Some of that, and for some of that, then we kind of go through afterwards. The kids were in distress, you know, it was just a mess. Yes, sad kids, kind of shocked, messes everywhere. Tragic. And then we'd have them do it the right way. So what would happen is staff would get that link, they would show the video, and then they would take this quiz. And so basically the quiz is really super basic. It's not a hard quiz, but it just shows us if they've watched the video and processed it with their students. So this could be done in an advisory period, or for elementary, it's easy. You know, we have a set aside time period to do these type of things. So they can go ahead and fill that out. What it does is helps us know, have you shown it? Have you talked about it? You know, because once they submit this link, we can see who's done it, who's not done it through the Google form. And then that's just an easy way for us to say, hey, can we help you press play? I don't know, help you show this video and have a conversation about it. So everybody's on the same page. So that's one thing that I like about it a lot. A couple other video related things here on this page. One is we have a digital video library. You're welcome to take a look at this, use these. What I would do, take a look at some of these topics you have that you'd like to use at your site, and then make them your own. Obviously, put your own kids, your own staff in them. These are good ideas, but it makes more sense to have your own kids and staff in videos. So some of them have that full lesson plan like I just showed you. Some of them are simple videos. Some are shared from other places that are not ours, that we did not create. We do have our playlists from some of our film festivals in the past in there as well that can be used, that are pretty cool. And then the Association of Positive Behavior Support, they have a film festival mostly annually. They've had a couple years where they didn't, but in general, since 2015, they've had these videos made or submitted to their film festival. And like I mentioned, back in 2013, which is not included in here, was when we were able to have that one nominated for first place or voted first place or whatever it was. Anyway, so there's just hundreds of videos here. Take a look at them there. You can see what the audience is, the title of the film, the school, who submitted. So they're all around this country, and even some internationally. We had some from Australia as well. So pretty cool. Take a look at those. Just again, more resources. Looking for something to do tonight, watch videos. This is just part of teaching expectations. So you take that information of what you want to teach. We have our commons area, locker area, cafeteria. So having the people who work in those areas, teaching expectations whenever possible. So park a bus on the playground, have a bus driver come out, work with them to teach expectations on the bus. Just really be as specific and concrete and in context as much as possible. Office area, nurses area, and so on. I forgot to mention anything about myself. I thought I had a slide, but apparently I didn't. Been in Princeton since 2001, started in 2005 with PBS, do training for the Southern region. So I've been doing that for about 15, 16 years as well. So that's my story. Been also a middle school level teacher before coming a principal. This is just samples. I'm sure you've seen different types of samples for making those classroom matrix, so different than the school-wide matrix. Here we have just several different examples. The one that I think is pretty cool, instead of having just the paper that looks like this here to share with students, is using Google Slides. Just a great way to talk about the expectations, talk about the routines in the classroom space, simply by having this here. So it goes over the classroom rules, signals the teacher has for getting attention, just those things you need. So our theme has been stripes to There's another way to focus in on Tiger Pride, what the schedules, expectations. So just all of those things that you need to be successful and know about in the classroom level. They include the school-wide matrix and so on. So all of these different things, hallway, how to access the restroom, things like that. Real simple things. So just a nice way I find to teach those expectations. So these are those things. So we have our matrix here, teaching schedule. This is something that we have every year. So we have these main areas that we focus on for the whole school. So block area, hallway, and our reset room are done with a group. We have a playground group, bus, and cafeteria. Those are the main non-classroom areas that we teach to everyone. So we have a schedule of classes going through that. If you're a secondary level, maybe you have an adjusted schedule where you do like a late start schedule and use that beginning of the school day for teaching expectations. And then we make sure we embed stop, walk, and talk through the whole thing. And then for boosters, we've created some slides, shows to share with staff. For example, the playground one. So for those of you who have playgrounds at elementary level, kind of goes through and who are the staff. One thing we've noticed sometimes is if you're not a teacher, if you're not the child's teacher, they think they don't have to listen to you, type of a thing. And so, we are all working together. Every adult in the building should be respected the same way, that type of thing. So this is just a good resource if you're looking or thinking about, how do we put together like a booster session. This can be done, typically these are done with just full classrooms. So we notice a class is having a challenging time, cafeteria, playground, whatever it might be, and we simply go to them and talk about it. Just a reminder, hey, we talked about this first week of school, but now it's January. We noticed that this has been happening. So just a good way to reinforce those expectations. Yeah, so the matrix is the matrix. You can take a peek at that if you'd like. Trying to embed stop, walk, and talk throughout what we do. So this is something that we've been trying to do from the very beginning. Just helping students being able to deal with situations on their own, kind of empowering them. So two things. So they have to be able to empower to address situations, but also be able to get help, but not right away. Not that tattling or they're doing this to me. Instead, trying to have the student be able to tell this other student, stop, be able to walk away if that's not working, and then tell somebody if you're still having an issue after that. Oh, it's supposed to have some of these slides so I can take drinks of liquids. It takes a lot of duct tape to hang a person of my side on a wall. This is kind of a fun one. So sometimes it's delicate to have the conversation with staff about active supervision, about, hey, we really need you to be out in the hallway, or need to be you in the locker, or need to be you outside your door, whatever it might be. We need you to be a part of supervising students, non-classroom areas, just be a part of it. This was a video that we put together. It's actually the third installment of a video we put together about active supervision. It's kind of a fun way to start the conversation. And hey, this is really outrageously not how to do active supervision, but it was a good way to start the conversation. Share a part of this. Oops, we got to go back here though.
John, I don't know if we can hear the video. I don't on my end.
Does it sound better now?
Yeah.
the idea, not doing very well, and then he's been inspired. Actually supervised. Connecting with students, building those relationships, scanning the area he's in. Very intentional about checking out the area he's working in. This is one of our original team members, Tom Jumper, our art teacher, the active supervision guy. All right. All right, let's talk about the elements of active supervision. Just to kind of a good way again to have that discussion. Sorry about the sound. Thanks for pointing that out. Aaron, these are just some examples. Again, this would be the part of how we respond to behavior. And so we have that flow chart. The one thing I like about how we put this together was having some of the pieces in here linked to other resources. So for example, a behavior happens, is a classroom managed? Okay, it's a minor one, and then this is just a kind of toolbox for staff members to use. The responding inappropriate behavior is something that was put together by the Minnesota PBIS Network. It gives you some of those ideas. If you haven't seen this document before, it's really kind of cool. They have 6 different classroom practices. This is the 5th one. What I like about it, it also has like a rubric. So like myself as a classroom teacher can go, do I have this in place or somewhat or no? For these different,
Ian or
for
Luke,
these-
please report to Troy Kinney's room, 413. Thank you.
sorry about that. I thought nothing happened at school during the summer. So they can kind of rate themselves how they feel they're doing with that particular area. That's a way to say, hey, I'm a 1 in this area right now, but maybe if I do this, tweak this, or add this, I can get to be more efficient and be able to do this with more fidelity. So that's kind of a cool, I like that as a part of this particular document here. We also have our MTS flowchart. We have the forms we connect to an EduClimber. We have a Tiger Pride reflection sheet. We use the second step SEL lessons. And so we have the My Story, My Plan worksheet that goes along with that in here. A link to our referral system. We use Swiss, so it's a link to that. So it's all kind of there. I just think it's a nice way to have this laid out example for you. The definitions. One thing we did last year that was, I think was good for staff is staff were concerned about how do I make this challenging phone call? So we encourage them to make the positive phone calls, but those are easy, right? Your child's doing a great job. They're a rock star. Keep it up. The harder ones are your child is struggling with something. Maybe it's behavioral or academically, and you have to make that tough phone call. So we actually practiced this last workshop, script. I mean, just completely detailed helping staff with this because we noticed sometimes staff wouldn't make contact, or maybe they would do it in an email that maybe didn't help a situation. So this is a way to actually have that communication over the phone saying, hey, I'm looking for some help today. Today or these last few days, they've been struggling with this. We want to avoid the last 3 weeks we've had this problem. It's more like, this week or today or in the last few days, this has been happening, and asking for help. Have you noticed this at home? What's worked for them before? Could you have a conversation with them about this situation? Can we work together? So just being able to say, hey, I appreciate you working with us or working with me as a classroom teacher, and just kind of giving them a script, kind of empowering them to say, hey, I can do this. It's not super fun to talk and have challenging conversations sometimes, but I can do this. There's just a tool to help with that. The My Story, My Plan is just a worksheet that is through second step. Like I said, we use second step program. What happened, what I was feeling, and then the plan, kind of based on the skills that we have for the second step lesson. So that's just something we use here. Part of the theme each year is we have an office window that we put this grid on. This is part of the reinforcing behavior. And so students are drawn in their classroom. Teacher determines how that is done. So how they want to draw the tiger paws or who they want to nominate for that week. Student puts their name on an item. Typically, it's connected with the theme, and so this year was Tiger Pride is growing, and so it looked like we had fruit that they would sign, or vegetables even too. Looks like I see some carrots there, and they would put their name on and put it on this wall, and then we would spin this wheel, which I will show a picture of in a minute here. Spin the wheel, and then if you were underneath the G or whatever, we would have you come down to the office, get some fabulous prizes. Part of that theme, Tiger Pride is growing, could have them, we would take those ones that are drawn and put them on these bigger displays. You can kind of see who's been drawn over time. Kind of cool. This is the Be Brave theme that we had. There's the Be Brave wheel, which was kind of cheap and didn't last very long, but it was kind of fun to do. Then, like I said, when you lands on whatever superhero it was or whatever letter it was, then that group of students would come down and receive that fabulous prize. And we'd also, during that theme, we'd have classroom teachers, after they earned so many Tiger Paws, would have the opportunity to put their class name on this target. So you're reaching the target, the expectation. Princeton's really big into archery, so that's kind of cool to connect those two things. Have staff involved, and so we had some of our teachers and our office staff create some videos as well, using that theme. I think they're using the same outfits there. One thing that has been really fun to do is good news calls of the day. We would have staff fill out this form, and this form looks like this. Basically, who do you want to recognize? What did they do? The when and where did they do it's helpful, and then when did it happen? And then I would call them down. We'd take a picture together using Snapchat for these ones. I don't have any here. But that would be kind of a cool way to have the student be a part of a good news call to family. And those are easy calls to make, of course. So just having staff remember to nominate kids every so often. It's a Google form, so I can see who was nominated, who nominated them, and then go ahead and make those connections with them. Another thing that we would do is on the playground, kind of like when you have so many, safe days at work, like a work site, we're looking for how many positive days we can have by grade level. So this was the Tiger Pride is growing, and we'd have these tigers that would, every so often we would add parts to them as students are earning positive playground days. It's not perfect days, just what we would consider positive. So set a criteria, what's a positive look like on the playground? Only this many incidences or whatever, and then classrooms could earn their time. This was another theme, the Be Brave or superhero theme there. So they would do the similar thing, and then after so many days, we would just give them a thank you, a recognition. So at a activity with me type of thing, movie popcorn carnival was the end of the school year type of thing. Also on the positive side, we've done the North Star Cafe. We have a special area, a commons area that we would put out special seating. There's kids getting a picture taken, buy a cake type of thing. We have staff do special talent and just have kind of a special lunch. They still have school lunch, but just a special setting, a special way to do it, kind of in the center of attention. All the kids coming out of the cafeteria walking by this area and see kids at the Tiger Pride Cafe. Kind of a cool thing. Used to be the North Star Cafe, but then we changed our name to Princeton Intermediate, so we changed the Tiger Pride Cafe. So that's what that looks like. Another way to kind of keep that positive energy, we would do an interest hour a few times a year where students could actually sign up. Staff would do some kind of activity or skill or something fun and different, give students a chance to connect with a different staff member, maybe someone they don't ever work with a specific topic or interest. We have done special, a different color Tiger Paw for substitutes to use, and we would use those, draw from those Tiger Paws, substitute staff Tiger Paws or guest teacher, we want to call it, and we would do a Subway party, Subway party. It was kind of cute. One kid made the connection as they were eating. Oh, Subway. Okay, anyway, so that's kind of a cool thing to do. Done that before. End of the year, we have taken all of our Tiger Paws and put them out on the floor and do a final drawing. One year we made the mistake of taking all of our Tiger Paws and shredding them and making them into confetti and dropping them in front of blowers and having them just go out in the audience. who would have thought that'd be messy? I don't know. I guess it kind of got messy. Speaking of carnival and end of the year, number of tiger paws, we keep track of the number of tiger paws, and then every 3,000, we'd add something new to the carnival over the course of the year. I mean, we're going to have those items anyway, but it's kind of fun to unveil them as we go through for students to see kind of what those tiger paws are earning over the course of the school year. And that's our front yard where we had the carnival. So we had some inflatables and different games and things as well. You know, wacky hair, stuff like that. Ring toss. Every so often when we notice that we're having a difficult time with something, we'll do some sort of a challenge. This was a challenge that we did. We're looking for acts of kindness. Let's say we're seeing some issues with some bullying, and so we're looking for a certain number of acts of kindness. So this would be reported by teachers. And then over time, we want to get to a goal of a certain number of acts of kindness over a certain time period. If it happens, I was slept on the roof. And so I've done that a few different times for a few different types of challenges. It's a simple way to focus in for a short period of time on a specific skill. So if you're struggling, maybe it's after a break and realizing that, hey, our students are needing some help supporting their behavior. Let's have a challenge. Let's focus on this for this period of time, for this area, just being as specific as possible, helping to really drop that behavior in that area for a short period of time, and then hopefully be able to reset that area moving forward. There it is, the roof. One thing that we've transitioned to is a Tiger Paw menu. So each classroom teacher has this, and students can purchase these things from their classroom teacher. So it could be anything from real simple things like pencils to being able to do a behind the scenes tour. That's been pretty cool to have a behind the scenes tour where students can see areas of the school they wouldn't normally see. So we go walk into the refrigerator, the freezer, we look at the boiler room, we check out, we have a tunnel for storage, we look at that. We have an elevator that goes up 10 feet or 5 feet. So we look at that. Just things that kids, they love it. We go to the staff lounge. Wow, we're in the lounge. Pretty cool. That's a fun one. Here are just, if you want to have a link to that, you could certainly take that and make that your own. Just a link to that menu. So teachers can add their own if they have some other things they want to do. We have a Tiger Pride news program, so students can purchase being on the news. We either do a Friday Funny or actually be on the news for a day. This is something that one of our staff members created, just a real simple way for staff members to track if they've been reaching all of their kids. So you put your list of kids on the left side there, and then you put down were they Tiger Pride students, or were they drawn? Have they been drawn at all on that Friday or end of the week? Have they been nominated for the Tiger Pride Cafe? Have they received a good news call from the principal? Have they had a note sent home, email sent home, dates of email, call home, notes from communication? So am I making connections with the kids in my classroom? Do I know more about them than what they're doing academically? Do I know who they are as a person? So being able to really be intentional about how do I connect with the kids I have in my space. All right. This is just a picture of the store. We've had stores at certain times. We've had our Tiger Paws where we encourage students to spend them. School store open during different times of the day or week. Now there's different types of incentives. So I don't have much hair to work with. I had more hair back then, but kind of a fun thing, getting a haircut or losing beard, whatever. End of the year assembly. So end of the year, we would bring the kids together and just kind of wrap up the year. One year we had our graduates come into our assembly just to show the kids, this is your future at graduating high school. The kids that we have are just grades 3 through 5. Not sure if I mentioned that. We have about 700 students, grades 3 through 5. Last day of school, we have a gourmet hot dog dinner, lunch. So we grill for them and for staff. It's just the lunch that day is hot dogs grilled on the grill outside. a way to acknowledge staff, we have had this passing the Tiger torch. And so the idea here is that staff members would take this Tiger torch that was made by our teacher, Tom Jumper, and he made this, and we'd use this from passing person to person. They'd write a nice letter about why they're giving to this person. It became really emotional. I mean, people were able to really share things that they did for the other people of the person, why they appreciate them and what they did. It became really a cool thing. So we would do that like once a month. One thing we found, it just wasn't frequent enough. And so we transitioned to the Good News Staff Shout Out, very similar to the Good News Student Shout Out, very similar, like almost identical. Who do you want to recognize, what they do, when did it happen? And then we'd have our staff would come around and actually interrupt a class that they were teaching or the space they were in, and to give them that good news shout out. We would take the information from the Google form, put it on a little postcard or a thank you card, and share that with that staff member. Just another way to recognize staff, and also students to see that we're recognizing staff. So kind of a cool way to do that. Okay. Also, part of when staff members when the Tiger Paws are drawn, their staff members' names are on them. And then we draw some of those Tiger Paws and recognize the staff member whose name is on it. So for example, this is a certificate that we would give to staff, and they would have an hour off. So they could come an hour late, leave an hour early. I would cover that time, could be during the school day, just has to be, when I'm available to do it, which able to get that worked out most of the time. We just try to avoid having be more than a couple in a row. So some staff will save this and, kind of take the week off. No, maybe not quite that extreme, but want to take a few hours off at a time. So it's just kind of a good way to acknowledge and appreciate staff. We've also created cakes before. So taking your data and make a cake out of it, that can be a cool way to share good news with your staff. This is a very big cake. That's a 60-inch table, I believe. And then we actually had a student who was taking baking classes and made this one for us. Another way to do the green, yellow, and red, just number of referrals. This is a newer idea that we have, pretty cool. Room service. So just because we would give them this room service card, and they would fill out a drink and a snack, all healthy choices, as you can see, ask them to turn it back in. We then purchase those things. This one, funding wise, I simply paid for this one, but in general, we have our parent teacher organization does help fund some of our things like this as well. And I think they've actually done a round or two of this as well. But just grab a snack, grab a drink. The secretary and I would go around the school and deliver them. Kind of a fun thing to do. And teachers and staff, all staff, not just teachers, everybody has really appreciated that. All staff involved, can't say this enough, making sure that all people who work all adults who are on site, that they're a part of what we're doing with Tiger Pride, that they are involved, that they're communicated with, that they're involved in the training, that it takes everybody to make this happen. We also want to work with bus drivers. Sometimes the ride to and from school can be the most challenging part of the day for some of our kids. And so working with our bus drivers to help train them on, hey, you do a great job of driving a bus, but we realize now that you have 60, 70 kids behind you, it's a super hard job. You're facing forward, the kids are behind you. How do you help make those rides positive? And just helping them realize the impact they have of simply greeting the kids as they come on the bus and greeting them or saying goodnight to them as they're leaving at the end of the day. Just letting them know that we're supporting them. We know they have a difficult job, but there's small things they can do that can make a big difference. So we connected with the bus company, and they did a bus poster contest, and then we'd have the drivers and those kids winners go to our local Dairy Queen, kind of a thank you for all involved. We've done this before. We have a Tiger Pride pledge, and so having staff just say, hey, I pledge to do this year, I'm going to define expectations. I'm going to teach them, monitor expected behavior, acknowledge. I'm going to have a system for correcting those behavior errors. I'm going to actively supervise, just like Tom Jumper did. I'm going to support students with interventions. I'm going to be open with my communication. I'm not going to be gossiping about other people. I'm not going to be talking behind their back. I'm going to honor them in their absence. So we have them actually sign this and on a poster, and we'd say, hey, don't sign this if you don't feel that you can do this. So just something that we've done to make it, just have them be intentional about supporting what we're trying to do with Tiger Pride. Every fall we do a family night, and so family, we have just a variety of activities. We've done different formats, but in general, we invite families to come in, a whole family, not just kids who go to the school. We feed them a hot dog dinner. That again is, we either use an activity fund or we have our PTO help fund that. It does cost a little bit of money to feed everybody. Even though it's a hot dog dinner, it still costs some money to make those gourmet hot dogs. But then we have a variety of activities happen throughout the school. We do some environmental learning type things. So we have one classroom that's devoted to that, or others we might have a bingo, word bingo, book bingo with folks. We do a program also. So we talk about what Tiger Pride is. So we rotate families through our gym where we have welcome to Tiger Pride Family Night and talk about what's happening with Tiger Pride, give them some examples so parents are kind of connected. We do encourage them to attend that. So we do a little drawing for a prize bag, a prize package as well. Help them attend. Otherwise, they might not, maybe not come and listen to me talk. Not everybody wants to. This is kind of a cool thing we've done. Our theme, using tigers in this case, and we had them, what we did, we put them around town. And so whatever the theme might be, we have each classroom design and create whatever that is. So there's tigers, a piece of a puzzle when I Belong was a theme, and each classroom would design it. Maybe one or two kids would actually put the design on it, but they would kind of do it together. And then we put them in different places around town. In this case, we did planters where Tiger Pride is growing. We actually had high school students come in, like floor design class, come in and help our kids plant plants in these planters, and they would put them in different places around town. Erin Ingus was key to making this happen for many years. So appreciate her help and support doing that. We had Minnesota Nice. We had these plates, for hot dish, of course, that we were using. Then we'd auction these items off near the end of the year at a function. There's a video about where all these different planters or heroes or whatever they might have been are. So I'll just share a really small part of this. Have a fun way to do it. So you'd see where they are, these different designs, 3rd to 5th grade, where they are in town. So students can actually go out and find them in the different areas. Yeah. Budding artists. There we go. This is the set of them that were auctioned off. I typically would buy one of each, so I have them in my office. The plant's still alive. One of the challenges, I do not remember when, but early on, much more hair at that time. Pig was cute too. One way to help with communication, so part of that staff involvement and community involvement, we do a weekly staff update. So every week I have a Google Doc that I update and add just key things happening around the school, things, upcoming meetings, different events, whatever's happening. And then we do one for the families. So each week I will record a message that's sent to all families through our Skyward system. Friday at 4:30, you're going to get a phone call and an email. So I do the same message as an email as well as a phone call. I say 60 seconds. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more, but basically just a weekly update that they'll hear from me. When that phone rings every Friday at 4:30, they know it's me. They can answer it or not, but they know that communication is available for them every week. One cool idea that we had recently was giving a postcard to both bus drivers and someone at the field trip to have them tell us, how did we do on the field trip? How did we do at the place we're at? And how did we do on the transportation? And so, how would we show Tiger Pride today as a classroom or as a group of students coming from our school? And then how could we be better? So just being able to get that feedback, a little more data on how we're doing on field trips. There's been times where we've had groups of student leaders helping to, upstanders type kids, helping to just reinforce and help our school be better. We do student advisor where we ask a couple kids per class per month to come in, not per class. We have about 8 kids come in, so we rotate throughout. We get to all of our classes eventually. We have a couple kids per class rotated through, so about 8 at a time, and ask them, what do they think about Tiger Pride? If they could change anything, what would that be? What do they like? What could be improved? Just getting their feedback. It's a nice way to connect with them, bring them into our conference room. We give them a free lunch, but that doesn't have much impact anymore because the free lunch is a thing. But try to make it special for them and connect with them and ask them, what can we do to improve? If you were ruler of the world, what would you do with Tiger Pride? Mentoring, I've done mentoring for quite a while. Simply having students to be identified who could use some extra support or some extra attention, and having staff volunteer to, be a mentor. Sometimes we'll simply ask the kid, who would you like to mentor you? And then we go ask that staff member and say, hey, this person would really love you to be their mentor. You have 10 minutes a week to connect with them. And so that's been something we've done for a long time. Just different activities that we've done. Sometimes you do typically it's just a small one-on-one thing or a small mentoring situation, but then we bring together the full group a couple times a year as well to do something as a full group as well. Senior dining, something we've done in the past, having our students just do some service, do some serving in the community. And so the way to connect our students with our seniors in our community during senior dining. I mentioned earlier, we have a Tiger Pride News program. Tiger Pride News program, something we do every morning. It's shown. We used to do them live, but technology-wise, and just we ran into some glitches that way, and so we record it the week before. So the Friday before, we'll record all of them simply using Zoom, and we have 5th graders who interview to be a part of Tiger Pride News, and we have them give the news. Typically, the date. We have used, if you've seen the kindness slides from Steve Hardman on the road, we use those. We'll use one of those or 2 a week. We do a Wildlife Wednesday. We have wildlife cameras out at our local refuge. And so we share some of that, kind of connecting the environmental education that we do, birthdays, lunch menu, weather, things like that are part of the news. So you can take a look at that link if you want to watch a few hundred morning announcements. You can kind of get a history of our school through announcements. If you have time on your hands. That's what that looks like. Tiger Bingo. This is just like another one of those just because things. Everybody in the community has a part to play Tiger Bingo. We do this at the end of the first trimester and the second trimester. What happens is we air Tiger Bingo through our TPN News type sitting system, and kids get bingo, run down the halls. It's the only time you can run down the halls, and grab a fabulous prize guaranteed to last at least 25 seconds. Data. Let's talk a little bit about data. So this is something we share with staff, and also being one of the first schools in Minnesota to be a part of PBIS. We've had many schools come visit us, or they've been asked us to come to them and talk about what is Tiger Pride all about. I'm getting down in time here. So this is share some of our data. The big thing with this slide, for example, is students with 4 or more referrals. First year versus several years later, the number of students who need support at that higher levels is just greatly reduced simply by having this framework in place. Having all the pieces in place greatly reduces the number of students who have a need of more support. This way, PBIS doesn't magically take away behaviors, and there's never any behavior, but it gives us an opportunity to not have our resources spread quite so thin. Just some data over time. This is from 05, 06 through 23, 24. Number of referrals per 100 students per year. All referrals, this shows you majors. So you can see that 87, our benchmark year, down through time. You can see we have ups and downs like every school does. I'm going to skip through some of these. If you want to take a look at some of the changes in data over time, but I'm getting near the end of my time here. This is something that's pretty cool, though. If you've been in training in the last couple of years, you may have seen this document. If you take the tiered fidelity inventory, if you don't, if you're PBS school, I recommend you do that. Take the tiered fidelity inventory and also the self-assessment survey. Tiered fidelity inventory is for your team to take, and the self-assessment survey is for your staff to take. That will give you the perspective of your team and your staff on how well you're doing with implementation. And then you can take a look and compare the two scores. How are we doing from what we think we're doing, what the staff feels, and that gives you an opportunity to then grow and learn and train staff and get people on the same page and problem solve those different areas. So I thought it's a pretty cool tool. All right, more data. All right, so the rest is just more examples. I'm not going to open these links because we're just down to very minimal time. See if there's any questions people might have. But newsletter example, a reference sheet that kind of a one-pager for staff. What is Tiger Pride all about, given the first week of school? More video links, end of the year assembly agenda. I mentioned that we had the end of year assembly. What does opening workshop look like for staff over time? Kind of cool. Family night agendas. We shared, like I said, we've shared with different schools over time. So visiting them, kickoff assembly, planning, workshop week. I think I maybe put too many links there. New staff PowerPoints. Remember, as new staff are getting on board your site, how do you train them, get them on board? Because you don't have time pass where people are coming in, they have no idea what the system looks like, what the framework is. Different types of training, film festivals, expectations. And then I mentioned those PBS core practices. This will be the last link I open up. This just has those 6 classroom practices I mentioned. Each of them is pretty cool, has a rubric to look at as well. All right, that was a lot, I know, in a very short amount of time. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. Any questions or comments people have, more than willing to try to connect with you on that. I will just give you my email address here, because I don't think I did. You can reach out to me if necessary, or if you have any questions or over time or whatever. Always available to answer questions or be a part of any communication you might have or ideas you might be looking for. There it is. All right, any comments, questions? I know I only left about 2 minutes to spare there, but any comments, questions that I can address or help with, or appreciate your time and attention this morning. It's always nice to, I don't know, look at a screen, but hopefully you got something out of that. Was a pleasure to be able to share with you this morning.
Thank you, John. I echo Michelle's sentiments. A lot of great ideas. I know I was screenshotting a lot of things, even though we have access. You can find the presentations in the Dropbox, and maybe Tamara could throw that link in there again. We do have a break now until 11:15. If you stay on this Zoom link, you'll be seeing Nick Gage's Exploring the Impacts of PBS on School Outcomes. If you switch to the other link, nope, I said that wrong. If you stay on this link, oh, I am so confused. Let me just read the right things here. Yeah, if you stay on this link, it's Nick Gage. If you go to the other link, supporting students with disabilities from the Osseo School District. Thank you so much, John, for all your 20 years of work and experience and sharing that with us. Just phenomenal things are happening from your school. So everybody enjoy your break. We'll see you back here soon.